Welcome to Pantherranters podcast. Kick back and enjoy news, topics, and more for your Panthers with your host and co-hosts Michael and Logan.
Welcome back to episode 8 of Pantherranters podcast, and for the second week in a row, we have a very special episode. We'll get into it, and we got a guest on. We're going to talk Panthers football, another team's football, as you'll see as we come up, and let's hop right into it. So, all right, everybody, I'd like to welcome our guest, Caden from Whodatsnation on Instagram. Make sure you give him a follow. Caden, welcome in. I, again, very much appreciate you joining in. So, I hope you have fun with us tonight while we sit here and talk some football. So, how are you doing tonight, man?
Doing good. Appreciate you guys having me. Hope we can keep these discussions civil as rival.
Absolutely.
I think you're going to like the first question.
Early.
And again, I'd like to welcome co-hosts Michael and Logan in, obviously, every week. How are you guys running tonight?
Well, before Andrew has the chance to call me out on it, I'm cooking dinner. So if you guys hear like sizzling in the background, that's what that is.
It was coming.
I know it's coming, but we do this at 10:30 at night. That's what happens.
Yeah, it's all good. We finally got Caden in. Trying to figure it out time. Real quick before we do get into football, Caden, you're on the West Coast, right?
Yep, I am.
General area,
right.
I guess. What state are you from? I didn't even ask you that.
California.
Oh,
Probably
you're
not.
West Coast, way out there.
Yeah.
Thanks. So, do you even get to see Saints games unless you have Sunday ticket?
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
Got the ticket to watch the games and every team too. But
Absolutely. Cool. So, we have a few questions for you tonight. We'll talk some football. I can't believe we have a Saints fan on the channel. If we found like one of the 5 down-to-earth civil Saints fans, I guess, that we can actually have a conversation with, because Caden, I don't know if you look on Twitter or in other teams' comment sections on Instagram or anything, but obviously you being a Saints fans are ruthless.
yeah, they can be a little harsh sometimes.
A little harsh is a soft way to put it. That's for sure. Michael,
I think every fan base has their jerks for what it's worth.
Yeah, but it's the Saints.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're trying to be nice tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
First question I have for you. We asked Chris from Falcons Tribe this about you guys last week, so we're going to keep it fair. This is a very easy question. Like, this should fly off the tongue for you. Please tell us why you hate the Atlanta Falcons.
They're just like the worst. Like all around the worst.
Why do you hate them?
They're just the rivals, and there's multiple rivals, but Saints and Falcons is like the main one, at least for us.
It's the main one for the division. Like, I won't even argue it.
Yeah, I agree.
I can piss you guys off on Twitter all I want, but it doesn't change the fact that Falcons fans have been doing that for 52 years.
Yeah, it's just always heated, which is why it's so great. But yeah, they're just the worst. I really don't know how to explain it, but yeah.
Do you have like Sorry, I know I keep interrupting you. Do you have like a favorite moment from that rivalry?
Favorite? The Drew Brees spin move, 2018, week 3. He spun, I think, out of 2 tackles and like ran it in for like a 5-yard touchdown or something. That's an elite moment for sure.
Yeah, that was a shootout, right?
Yeah, I think the final score was like 47-40 or something like that.
Yeah, that was a wild one.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Fair enough.
But
hey, it's a great way to start. One question I would like to ask, and this is just straight from Panthers community lore or whatever. Do the Saints fan community see? I mean, obviously it's a division rival, but do you think Panthers fans make it more of a rival than what like everybody else sees it as?
I don't know. I would definitely say the Panthers are more of a rival than the Bucks.
Okay.
Hey, I'll take that.
The Bucks fans think it's a rivalry, and like it's not. It's the funniest thing ever of the year.
Well, at least you find Bucks fans. I don't even know where are they. I live in Tampa and I can't find them.
Yeah, I mean the only quote unquote rivalry the Saints and Bucks would have would be like the Lattimore and Evans thing. That was one sided the whole time. But like, yeah, there's a little bit. The Panthers, like I like thinking about the Cam Newton and Drew Brees battles. That 2015 game in the Superdome when you guys were like 10-0 or whatever. That's one that comes to mind.
Can't forget the wild card game, 2017.
The wild card game in 2017. I think we had a close game in 2019 when Teddy Bridgewater was the QB, or is that 2020?
2020.
Yeah, I think it's a rivalry. I wouldn't say it's as heated, obviously, as like Saints and Falcons or Bears, Packers, or whatever. But I think it's like maybe like middle tier. I don't think it's overrated or underrated as a rivalry.
That's fair.
Yeah, I will say I felt like it really took off sometime around 2011 when Ron Rivera got, for all the hate we give Ron Rivera sometimes, like I felt like he really kind of upped the animosity of this rivalry during that era. It felt like for a time, every time Carolina went to New Orleans, the final score was like 41-38. Like you could just expect a Wild West shootout every time you went down there. And yeah, it's been fun ever since. Like as much as I hate you guys, like I thoroughly admit it's an enjoyable rivalry.
Yeah, they're typically good games for the most part, I would say. Yeah, I think overall there's typically a good game every year.
True.
Yeah, man. And I, honestly, I heard you mention the Lattimore Evans thing. I just want to say, I may have kind of come into being a Panther fan like right in the last years of like the Saints dominating the division. So I definitely got a special hate for y'all's team, but I was always on y'all's side with the Lattimore Evans thing. Like I'll say all the time, man, I've never seen like a so-called tough guy go and truck another player in the back like I saw Evans go run in Lattimore. It was crazy, man. I feel like Lattimore always had him like strapped down too.
He did. I can maybe think of like one game where like Evans probably got the better of him, but like there's some like statistics that like Lattimore and like for 4 straight games held him to like 0 catches and like 4 targets, and I think Tom Brady was like, the QB for 2 of those games. Like Lattimore,
like sometimes you get like a 1-yard touchdown or something, and that would be like his so-called win.
Yeah, like that was his win, the 1-yard slant touchdown. So
yeah, cool for sure.
Yeah, I just remember the 2021 game, which was like I think it was in New Orleans where y'all played the Tom Brady Bucks after they won the Super Bowl, and it was a high scoring game for whatever reason, and Mike Evans caught like a 40-yard bomb, and some Saints fan commented, which I thought was hilarious. He said like, "Congratulations, Mike. You finally scored on Marshawn Lattimore. It only took you 4 years and 8 games to do something."
Yeah, that's
because he's gotten destroyed that many times.
Yeah. You know what I wish we could have gotten? I wish we could have gotten the Marshawn Lattimore versus Steve Smith matchup. That would have been peak. That would have been amazing.
Well, you guys had Vilma at that point. We got Vilma at least.
Yeah. But like Steve Smith and Lattimore, I feel like would be on the same level, or maybe more than the Evans and Lattimore matchup. I don't know.
That would have probably been up there with like the OBJ and Josh Norman kind of matchup. I know we only seen that twice, but like if we'd have seen Steve Smith and Lattimore twice a year for like 6 or 7, 8 years, that'd have been nasty to see every year.
That would have been awesome.
Attitude on attitude.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
dude,
Go ahead, Logan. I'll let you know we got a list of questions. Logan, if you would like to start us off on questions.
Okay, I'm sorry to jump ahead, man.
No, you're good. Go for it.
I just wanted to say, dude, the last couple days I've been going over y'all's roster. I've been trying to poke holes in it, really trying to convince myself that some of the stain type is, unwarranted. And dude, to my dismay, I really have a hard time poking any holes in y'all's roster. I guess one of the main things I honed in on was inside D line. I'm not too sure how good that's going to be. I'm curious how quick you think Christian Miller's going to get on the field. Maybe take Godchaux's spot, because I know that he's a pretty seasoned guy, but I heard he didn't have the best year last year. I was wondering if you've heard anything about that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what the team hopes, that Miller comes in and takes his job and then can cut Godchaux. That's probably that's what they want to happen. I think to this point Miller hasn't practiced yet. I think he's had a hamstring issue or something. The Saints coaching staff is very, very deliberate and precautious when it comes to injuries. They have guys who they're sitting out a bunch of guys right now and just ramping them up because they don't want to deal with lingering stuff going into camp. They have so many guys resting, so we haven't seen Miller yet, but I'm excited to see him play for sure. He fits what the Saints need in terms of a run stuffing guy, and he seems like he has some energy that he will bring to our defense for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious if he'll elevate Brian Breesy. You still holding out hope for him? I know they picked up his 5th year, right?
Yeah, I'm a Brian Breesy believer.
I love him.
He's shown flashes of being a very, very good player. The issue is it only happens 4 games throughout the season, or you'll see in moments. You'll see him put a spin move on a guard and then wreck the center and then get the pressure, but he can't finish out the play, or he struggles in run defense. So it's just I still believe in the talent, but it's also year 4, so it's getting close to a point where he is who he is. But I think a year or two ago, he was top 5 or whatever in sacks for defensive tackle. So hopefully Miller's addition helps. Hopefully he can figure it out. I still believe though. I'm a big fan.
Okay. Well, I hope that doesn't work out, because I really can't find too many other problems with y'all's roster here.
I think sacks for a defensive tackle, I feel are very fluky as is. Because the thing is, as a defensive tackle, you're never coming from the QB's blind side. So anytime you get a pressure, all the quarterback has to do is step away.
Yeah.
90% of the time, I feel when a defensive tackle gets a sack, it's a cleanup sack.
Yeah.
So unless you're Aaron Donald and just run over him.
Yeah. He had a few cleanup sacks, but that one year, I think he had 8 sacks or almost 8 sacks, and as a defensive tackle, that's a pretty high.
Yeah, that's insane.
But I think 2 or 3 of those were cleaned up, and then add in whatever else. But 8, that the number is what the number is. So he's shown that he can do it.
I know he's a bright spot on Dennis Allen's defense. I know maybe it's just kind of an adjustment period going to Staley's defense, going to a little bit more of a 3-4 base. But that'd be normal. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks it back up.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. So while we're on the subject of the Saints defense, one thing I wanted to ask you. So I felt this offseason for you guys was very much predicated on putting as much help around Tyler Shook as possible, which I think is the right move. However, your defense lost Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, and Delonte Taylor. Those are 3 cornerstones of that unit and have been there for the last, at least the last 4 years minimum. How have the Saints replaced that talent, and do you see this unit regressing this year?
Yeah, I think overall as a unit they'll probably be a little bit worse. I think Demario Davis is a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah, for sure.
like you're gonna naturally probably decline from that just because he's so freaking smart. They signed Caden Ellis. He won't be exactly in the same role because he can also do some pass rushing and stuff. He plays more like an outside linebacker than what Demario Davis did, but that's a good player who can definitely help fill that void. Alontae Taylor, they put Jonas Sinkern. He's our second-year safety. I thought he had a really good year one. There was like a 4-week stretch. I think it was early on. Like Jonas Sinker was probably the best player on the team, which I mean, is kind of it's a good and a bad thing because at the time things weren't trending so good. But they're putting him in the slot, and I think he played a lot of that in college. So he has the ability to do that. I think the biggest concern is like he's not the fastest guy. So if he's up against a I don't know, Wandale Robinson, like he's kind of a quicker guy, like could he keep up with someone like that? But he has the ability to make the tackles, blitz, good coverage. So there's that, and then the Cam Jordan thing. He's still a free agent. They traded for Tyree Wilson from the Raiders, who, as a number 6 overall pick, is a disappointment. But if you look at him as the Saints gave up a 5th-round pick for him, if you look at his numbers from that standpoint, that he's a 5th-round pick, like he's a pretty solid player. And then they signed Anthony Jennings, who's I think one of the better run defenders in the NFL. So that's the Cam Jordan thing there. And if they bring Cam back,
yeah, I was going to ask about that. I don't want to get too pissed off talking about Cam Jordan. Is he actually gone or is he coming back?
I got no idea. The Saints have an offer for him on the table, and clearly it's not what he wants. Typically, there's 2 lockers. He has 2 lockers in the locker room, like in the corner. So like he has 2 like back to back or whatever. And
of course he does.
Wow.
And one of them they gave to someone else.
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
No worries. And one of them they gave to someone else, but the other one is still like unused right now. So
leaving it open a little bit.
We don't know. We don't know if he's coming back or where he's going.
Has he? So like he hasn't came out and said anything. Like obviously with his age, at this point in his career, he's probably obviously Saints is like his home team, but he's probably looking for like a Super Bowl contender, like a 1 or 2 year deal if he does go somewhere. Has he hasn't really came out and said anything about that yet?
I don't think so. He said a while back that he's narrowed it down to 3 teams.
Dang.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that could have changed since then. I don't know if the Super Bowl contender thing matters a whole lot. I mean, he could have left like any time within the past 5 years to go compete anywhere else, and he chose to stay. I want to say the Chiefs have been as interested in him. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. But yeah, just wait and trying to see what happens.
Yeah, as much as I hate him, like I will give him credit. He's been very loyal to your organization.
A lot.
Yeah,
it's like
and I know been through some stuff too with you guys.
Yeah, made it through the Derek Carr years, and now he's going to leave once y'all turn in the corner. I would hope he comes back for that.
For your
guys'
sake. I hope he's forced into retirement. I was
about to say, for the Saints' sake, absolutely.
Yeah,
but for our sake, screw that dude.
Yeah.
For sure.
How much do you guys love him? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, everybody loves him. Like, you ask anyone who's on like the Saints Mount Rushmore, it's Drew Brees, Cam Jordan, and 2 other people.
He is far and away. We've talked about this before. He is far and away like the most hated player in division history.
Yeah, he's up there.
I hope you guys know that.
Derek Carr is also up there.
Derek Carr?
Mainly from
okay.
Division history. People.
I was gonna say you love Derek Carr.
Oh yeah, everyone loves him.
He's got to be just a Saints hated player.
And in fairness, like I'm sure Cam Newton would probably also be on the most hated NFC South players list.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching him play though, but yeah, I did not enjoy playing him.
I really appreciate hearing that from a Saints fan. That was the most respectful thing I've ever heard from a Saints fan about Cam Newton ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the truth. He was Josh Allen before Josh Allen, but like
absolutely
more annoying.
I totally could understand that. In
a respectful way. Yeah.
That's fair. One question for me, and this is, seeing it at the end of the year, I think he played 6 games, or started 6 games for you guys last year, and this is probably one of the Saints' biggest questions coming into the season is Tyler Shough. He played good, not against great teams, and including us at the time, not a great team, but put up decent stats against his last 6 games of the year. What are your thoughts on Shough, and do you see him actually continuing that and taking, maybe the next step into the whole season and putting a season together, or do you think what are your full thoughts on him, going into the season?
Yeah, I'm excited. Last year, he was like, aside from Chris Olave, he had like nobody. But by the end of the year, he was thrown to Ronnie Bell as his like number 1 receiver. And Audric Estime and Evan Hull were his lead running backs. And he was still finding ways to make plays. So I'm excited to see what he does with Olave and Tyson and Oscar Delp and ETN, whose last name I guess is now Achan.
Yeah, we have one too, so we know about it.
Yeah, we do.
I every time I think of the name Achan though, I think of Devon.
Yeah,
that's gonna take time. Yeah, I'm excited to see Tyler Shough full off season as like starting reps, not splitting reps to Spencer Rattler. And in terms of like, is he gonna keep up that same success? I think something he has going for him, which like, people give him crap about, but like I think him being older, being like 27 going into year 2, like he's more mature than I think a 22-year-old Shadur Sanders is, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
I think.
Oh yeah.
That benefits him in terms of not getting into that sophomore slump or whatever you want to call it. I've heard from like multiple people that he's literally been at the facility every single day because like he just has nothing else to do and that's all he wants to do is get better. So, I think the thing that people give him crap for the most, being an older rookie, is something that's going to benefit him going into year 2.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I think there are things he can work on progressively on like the mental side of the game.
For sure.
But I won't lie, like your final game of the year when we needed the Falcons to beat you to make the playoffs, he had me pissing myself. Because I thought for sure that he was going to come back and steal that game and we were going to be sitting on the couch, for the first round of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So he's a great thrower of the football. Like I said, I think the mental side he could improve on. Like even in that Falcons game, before the final pick, he nearly threw that pick 2 times. So he definitely can get better there. But I mean, he definitely has the talent to be the guy for you guys. Unfortunately, and I would also like to see him play some more elite defenses before crowning him like the next Drew Brees.
For sure.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I was like. Obviously playing the Falcons, there wasn't really any elite team that he played. He looked good. I guess as a quarterback in the NFL, he did what he was supposed to, against, and maybe, elevated that a little bit, but like he did what he was supposed to against the teams he should have. So, going into this year, I definitely, as coming from your guys' perspective, love to see what he could do against, like Michael said, a better defense. So, we'll see.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll talk about the expectations for the Saints season here in a minute. But I'm looking at the final 7 or 8 games of the year that you guys played where Shough was the starter. You guys beat the Buccaneers, the Panthers twice, where I don't know what we were doing, the Jets, and the Titans. I don't necessarily view any of those teams as like, you know, what's the word? Like Super Bowl contenders. During that same stretch, you lost to the Rams, the Falcons, the Dolphins, and the Falcons again. How'd y'all get such an easy schedule? What the hell? But yeah, like,
the year
go ahead.
before. I think we got the easy schedule because we were last place in the division the year before.
Oh, I was being sarcastic. Yeah, I know how you guys got the easy schedule.
My bad.
But yeah,
no, it's good. But like, I mean, does the lack of competition, like, does that scare you at all?
A little bit, but at the same time too, like we're playing not the best defenses, but like I said earlier, like he didn't have really anyone aside from Chris Olave. So like,
yeah, that's a good point.
He was throwing to guys who weren't on the info roster at the start of the season, and he was still putting up 30 points. I think the Titans game and I think the Jets. I mean, that's the Jets. I don't know if that counts, but like, he guys who weren't on NFL rosters, and they were winning games. They would have beaten the Dolphins if Chris Olave didn't drop a pass that went right through his chest.
Which was a great throw, by the way.
Yeah, so like, I'm not saying the Dolphins are really either, but like he definitely he did what he needed to do with what was surrounding him, and yeah, it's a good talking point, and I am curious to see how he does look like when we play the Ravens in week 2, or when we play who's another team. We'll play in some other good team with a good defense, but like, yeah, I'm curious to see what he looks like. But then also he'll have another year in the system and more weapons and everything like that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think y'all, dude. It really burns me to like kind of, be a Saints defender, but I do think y'all have got a lot better since then too. I mean, obviously, Jordan Tyson. I really hate that y'all got Oscar Delp. I really wanted him for the Panthers.
I love Oscar Delp, by the way.
Christian Miller is obviously a big addition, and then they're basically adding Julian Blackmon because he just didn't play last year. And so, I mean, I don't think it's unfair to have some higher expectations in that way. You just gotta hope Tyler Shuck takes that next step. One other thing I do want to sneak in before maybe we move into like, general season expectations. Sorry to ask you about these kind of specific players, but I am curious. Carl Granderson's listed as y'all's, outside linebacker across from Chase Young. He's got decent numbers. I was wondering, how comfortable are you with him if Cam Jordan doesn't come back as maybe being that guy across from Chase Young? Like, what kind of expectations do you have for him?
Yeah, he's always been a solid, like, number 2, number 3 rotational guy. You could probably count on him getting 5 to like maybe 7 sacks a season.
Yeah.
But I mean, ideally, he isn't your number 2, and he's your number 3. But hold on, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I will say, like, it sucks that Chase Young had a resurgence. I was really writing him off. So I mean, they've got the one now. It's just, the only like other weakness, because I was trying to point to that is I'm hoping maybe they don't have too much of a 2.
We'll see
about that.
It's a good point. Yeah, he'll do his thing, but he is who he is. He'll get the 5 to 7 sacks, make a few plays in the running game, but ideally you can upgrade at that spot.
Cool.
So, kind of going off the question that I asked about Tyler Shuck, just looking here at the Saints' schedule through the year for this coming up season. We talked about Shuck playing elite defenses, and honestly, looking through the schedule, and this is kind of going into expectations for the Saints this season, y'all really only play, and if I'm giving credit here to the teams, probably 4 really good defenses, and I'd say the Bears, Steelers always, Ravens, and probably the Lions out of that are probably the 4 really good defenses. Everybody else is, and depending on how ours comes out this year, and this is kind of going to be a 2-part question, but what are your expectations for the Saints, record-wise, who's some of the games like you may have circled on the schedule, and then after that, I'd like to hear what you have to think about, like what the Panthers, you could see the Panthers doing this year in this season too.
Yeah, games I'm looking forward to. Ravens game, no doubt. It's always fun watching Lamar Jackson play football.
Absolutely.
And then their whole team staff is like completely new. So like, how does that look? Lions will be fun. I love Jimmy Gibbs. Hopefully he doesn't do anything week 1, but he probably will. The Bears game will be interesting because Dennis Allen is probably one of the better defensive coordinators in the NFL. Like he made Tom Brady like look awful. So
yeah, I was so
test.
glad when you guys fired him. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too.
He owned us for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, horrible head coach, excellent defensive coordinator. And then for the Panthers, I'm curious to see what they do. I feel like they'll be better than what they were last season. A lot of it depends on Bryce Young. I feel like his high moments are really high, but they're not as consistent as you would hope. I don't know if it's the consensus around him in terms of Panthers fans. You guys brought in Jalen Phillips, right? And run someone else. I can't remember.
Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, Devin Lloyd. That's who it was. The defense should be better. You guys won 8 games last season. Like I'd probably guess like maybe like 9-ish wins would maybe be. I mean that'd probably be the hope if you're the Panthers, like taking that next step, get the winning record. But a lot of that falls on Bryce Young, of course.
Pretty much what we hear, through Panthers community. Obviously it falls on Bryce. And we've talked about this in multiple episodes already too. Bryce has got to prove himself this year, obviously. The defense should be, I think they should be a top 10 defense this year. And that really, in my opinion, depends on our defensive coordinator. Who knows? He may go out there and in the first 4 games play 15-yard prevent defense the whole game. We just, honestly, it's hard to expect with him. I guess, another question too, real quick before Michael and Logan ask you a couple more questions. Do you think do you think the Saints have a real shot of winning the division this year? Or do you think maybe you are like a year or 2 off?
I mean, they probably have a shot because, the NFC South isn't at its best right now.
Right.
Right now.
Yeah, I mean,
been a little
you probably got to win, 9 games? 9 games to win the division. Like, I feel like it's doable. The biggest question is the defense for the Saints. Can they be just average? If they're average on defense, I think they'll be okay. Brandon Staley did an excellent job last year of having the defense be above average. They're like top 10, I think, in a bunch of different metrics, which
and that really surprised me how good he was for you guys. I was ecstatic. Like, as a Panthers fan, I was ecstatic when you guys hired Brandon Staley. But he proved me completely wrong and really, made that blow up in my face. I mean, he was phenomenal for you guys. And your defense was not all that talented last year.
No, it was probably more talented well, I don't know. The defense just doesn't have a lot of talent in general. But yeah, I think as long as he can have them playing like the 16th best defense in the NFL, they got a shot. And with all the additions on offense they made, like they're probably going to hope to outscore everyone they play by like a crap ton of points. They're not relying on their defense to make stops. So, yeah, I think they can definitely win the division if Brandon Staley has him playing decent football on defense.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, honestly, yeah, like if I had to pick, I'm a homer, so I think the Panthers are going to get it. But if I had to pick a team that isn't the Panthers, I would probably pick the Saints.
Yeah, I feel like ideally it's the Panthers or Saints. I don't want to see Tampa go. I don't think they will. It feels like things are there. And I don't know what to think of Atlanta. Like, is Tua starting? And
I hope so.
Good. I think it'll probably be the Saints or Panthers who end up taking it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not high on the Bucks at all this year.
Yeah.
Cool.
So just out of curiosity, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah. What's the like consensus on Bryce Young? Like, do you guys like believe him, or is he like? Is this like the make or break year? Like, is this the year where you get that answer? Because like then you got to pay him, and I don't know if I would feel comfortable paying Bryce Young like $50 million a season.
Well, I think the consensus on him amongst Panthers fans and amongst the team itself is way higher than than what the national media says about him. I mean, the narrative in the national media is that you never know which version of him you're going to get every week, and that he can be like either top 15ish, top 10, or like bottom 5 with no in between, and you never know which one you're going to get on a given week. And that's just not the case. Will he have like 2 or 3 bad games a year? Will he make one bonehead play a game? Yeah. Yes, he will. But all in all, like he plays at minimum at like a top 20 level. And he brings that more weeks than not. The stats don't exactly back it up. But to me, he's a fine quarterback. And even if we got rid of him, I don't know how we would replace him. So for me, I would feel comfortable extending him right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Logan. I'd actually let it go last on this because I kind of say the same thing every time, but go for it.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. I'm sorry to keep jumping you, man.
No, you're good. Hey, keep it going.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I feel like I'm probably a good ways lower on Young than, like, the typical Panther fan. I think a lot of Panther fans are ready to roll with him. I do think the organization is a little bit of just wanting one more year to see. I think he's close. I think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL for sure. I think there's a lot of teams he'd go on that you could run a pretty good offense with him at. But I don't think he's quite up to franchise quarterback level yet. I think it's not like quite so much a level of inconsistency, like as Michael pointed out. But for me, I just like to see just a little bit more explosiveness, I suppose. I think it's close, but it's just the offensive output. Well, okay, that's kind of a side tangent here. I think a lot of people are kind of happy with Bryce Young, and that's fair, but the fact remains that we're yet to kind of see like a consistently good offense from our team yet, and we're kind of trying to sort out if that's on Bryce Young or if that's on our offensive head coach or what. We swapped out play callers this year, and the offense should only be healthier and better, so we're kind of like, I think this year is kind of the process to kind of root out the problem if there is one.
Yeah, and part of the issue too is they never, for whatever reason, the Panthers never really threw the rock a whole lot last year. They were always run first, and Bryce rarely threw more than 32 times in a game.
Yeah, so it's just a question of like, is that Young or is it the play caller? And we're just trying to figure that out.
Well, and I also think it's a part of the receiving core and tight ends too, who do not do the best job of getting open.
Absolutely.
I think we drafted a receiver high, and everybody just kind of said like, okay, we're set. Wide receiver is not an excuse anymore. But I mean, honestly, a rookie wide receiver being your only guy is not adequate still. So
right, one thing, and we've probably talked about this almost on every episode, because I think Chris asked us last week about Bryce, and then obviously he's quarterback right now for our team, so we talk about him a lot. My biggest thing, and you mentioned, the extending Bryce, is I'm really hoping, and with our front office as good as they are, hopefully they can get it done. I'm really hoping Bryce resets the middle QB market, which is going to be tough because it seems like in the NFL you're either paid like a top 5 quarterback or you're not a starter. That's how you kind of get paid in the NFL as a quarterback. It's kind of rough. I love Bryce. I think he has it. I think he has to be more consistent with it. This year is going to be probably, I wouldn't say tough, but, kind of the same offensive scheme, but we do have a new offensive play caller, so it's going to be a little bit different, which I hope they learn through training camp, and hopefully they actually play in the preseason, unlike they have the past couple of years. But I don't think Bryce is a $50 million quarterback like you mentioned, Caden. Hopefully, if it worked in a perfect world, he'd get like $35 million a year, because once you pay a quarterback $50 to $60 million a year, it's hard to fix your team if something goes wrong. So as far as the contract, I hope that's how it happens. As far as Bryce the player, I think he has it. I think he's like right on the verge of kind of breaking out, and I wouldn't say his breakout is 60 touchdowns a year, but like if he goes to throw 25 plus touchdowns and say 10 or less picks, it's probably a heck of a season for Bryce, and he gets paid. My biggest thing with Bryce is how the contract, overly affects a team. Because, like I said, once you dish out $50 to $60 million a year for a quarterback, if something goes wrong or you have a star player that you can't pay, it sucks, and it kind of just trickles down the team. So that's my thoughts on Bryce. I do think he's the guy. I think he obviously can be our long-term option at quarterback. And like Michael said, if Bryce goes somewhere else, we have no option at quarterback, because,
yeah, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to start over.
It would be a full reset again. And
we probably wouldn't be able to draft one high.
Yeah, it would be a year or two before we'd be able to get one.
So we'd be in QB hell for a bit if we ever got rid of Bryce.
So that's my stance.
Unless you're like a Kenny Pickett or was a Haynes King, the DFA we have.
I'm a Haynes King guy. He's going to throw for 350 yards in the Hall of Fame game. I'm just putting that out there right now.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure he'll do great in the UFL.
And since we have a Saints guy on there, I'm going to bring this up real quick, and I might have mentioned this a couple weeks ago. He did come out and say he was open to a Taysom Hill role in the offense, which, as a undrafted rookie, you're open to whatever you can play. If they put him at D tackle, I'm sure he'd play it. But he did say he was open to that, and he's a heck of a rusher at quarterback. When he was at Georgia Tech, he was a heck of a rusher. I watched a lot of ACC games last year, being a Tar Heel fan, but he's an athlete. Not saying he's going to make the team, because he's probably not, honestly. Michael, like you said, he's going to be a heck of a UFL player, but he is an athlete, So even if it's not on the Panthers, I hope he does find a spot in the NFL. For some reason, when we get these random dudes every year, like 6th, 7th round picks or undrafted free agent guys, for some reason, every single year, there's always one guy that I'm like, dude, he's got it. But he never quite has it and shows it on the field. Like, I remember, I think it was 2020 or 2021 with Matt Rule, we drafted Deontay Brown. I told all my buddies, I was like, dude, he's answer on the offense line. He's going to be a stud. I don't know if he ever even played more than 5 stat scores. So,
I don't think he ever played.
Honestly, I don't know either, but he was a beast at Bama when he played. He was. So I was like,
he was huge
found
too.
This hidden gem. He was massive, and I was like, dude, he's our answer. And obviously, I'm picking the wrong
Taysom Hill
undrafted free agents.
Yeah, I feel that. Think about like the Taysom Hill role is that I feel like it takes a lot of moxie to put that into play. I kind of wonder. I know Taysom Hill kept doing it after Sean Payton left, but I kind of wonder if that would ever really get a start if they didn't have, such like a. I hope this doesn't sound disrespectful, but like hockey coach in Sean Payton.
Yeah,
who's really willing to push stuff on defenses.
About Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill, in recent memory, is probably my most hated Saints player. He's a cocky MFer, and I can't stand him. Heck of a football player, but screw that dude.
I know, yeah, and dude, Kane, I'm telling you now, if we keep Haynes King on the roster, like we're doing 10 quarterback runs every time we play the Saints. We need our lick back for the Taysom Hill tournament.
What did Taysom do to the Panthers specifically? Like, I'm trying to think, like, off the top of my head. Like,
Cocky. He didn't really ever do anything. He's just a cocky dude. And, as somebody who gets 10 snaps a game, screw you. You don't deserve to be cocky.
I'll be honest. I didn't even I never even thought he was that cocky. It's just the idea that you're gonna take your quarterback off the field, put another quarterback on to do gadget what a lot of people would consider to be a cheap play. That consistently works. By the way, like
that's what I'm saying. Like
that's probably why we hate him.
That's why it takes so much moxie to do it.
The Falcons up. What's the other thing? So, I mean, it's more of just out of spite than anything. Like, I don't hate Taysom Hill, the player, or the person, I should say. I actually really respect him as a player. It's just more of us being petty for what he did to us for a couple years there.
He's a heck of a player. He really is. That hurts, saying that.
Yeah, it just made me mad that it would work.
He's off the team now. We can say that. What is he doing nowadays, by the way? Did he just retire?
He got signed, didn't he?
We think he's going to retire.
Really?
Okay, but he's currently unsigned.
Quite a career. Yeah. He made a lot of money for a guy doing that role. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Friggin' Taysom Hill. Okay, one more question about the Saints, and then we may get into a little bit of Panther stuff here. Real quick, what is going on with Kamara? How is the backfield going to look this year? And do you think AJ can take it over, or what do you see the backfield being this year? This is also for fantasy purposes, so I need an honest answer.
Yeah, I mean, if he's on the team, Achane will definitely be the number one guy. Like, they paid him that money for a reason. And when it comes to Kamara, they're just still trying to figure it out. I think they want him to take a pay cut, but they haven't asked him to take a pay cut, and they're just kind of not doing anything about it, which is why it's so weird. His production the past, aside from 2024, the past few years doesn't align with the money he's making. And I mean, paying two running backs top, $8 money or whatever just isn't the best financial decision. So right now it's just a waiting game. I don't know what they're waiting for, but I mean, no one knows if he's going to be on the team. He's on the team right now, so I guess there's that. But I mean, this thing could be dragged out there's no deadline. This thing could be dragged out for all the way into training camp if they wanted to, or dragged all the way on to week 1 if they wanted to.
Dang. Cool. So, real quick, and again, Caden, we're going to talk a little bit of Panthers football since, that's our team. We're going to talk a few minutes of Panthers football. If there's anything we say that you'd like to speak on, by all means, butt in, give us your opinion on it. Just a couple quick things here. So far through OTAs, I think today, actually on the 10th of June, was the second day of OTAs.
Minicamp, right?
Yes. Corey Thornton is getting a lot of praise through the entire camp, looking really good. I'm pretty sure he picked Bryce off today. I did not see the video, so I don't know if it was like a great play or if Bryce had a bad ball or whatever. But anyways, he got a pick. J.C. Horn's playing a lot of nickel. I don't know if you guys have seen that, which a lot of fans seem to love. I think he's pretty good there. And Leggett is still 50-50 catching balls with his hands and his body. So if he doesn't learn how to catch the ball with his hands, he may be off the team. But Logan, Michael, and again, Caden, if you want to speak on anything Panthers related, you're more than welcome. Any Panthers news that you guys want to pop in there?
Well, I thought it was interesting. Not only is Corey Thornton making plays, but they also have moved Chal Smith-Wade to safety, from what it sounds like.
Yeah,
that was surprising.
And, actions speak louder than words. The fact that he's taking safety snaps is like, kind of telling that he is not going to be the slot corner moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that even sounds like I even saw people framing it as he might have a hard time making the roster, which I thought was very surprising. I thought he'd at least want to be the backup there.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he didn't make the team.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he definitely has a spot on the defense. But I do think Thornton has stepped up and taken that third cornerback role.
Yeah, that thing about Leggett, that just sucks, man, because I don't know. I feel like all these Panther writers are still pushing back on fans, that want to throw Leggett out of here. Talking about how, the coaching staff still really likes him and everything like that. And I understand all that. I know by all accounts, it really sounds like he's overhauled his off-season training, he's put it into another gear. But, yeah, no matter how quick or nimble you get, man, if you're still trying to make body catches and you're not coming down with it consistently, it's not going to matter.
Yeah. Leggett is such a question mark going into the season. He's probably up there with top 3, top 4 question marks for us going into the season. Not that it's a big one, but what do we expect from him this year? Honestly, I don't think it would take much. And Brazel has also looked good in mini camp so